Guys, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a product review for you this week. We've sort of hinted a little bit about the some new steel shafts coming into the store from Shimada and Oban, some Japanese steel. So we had Matt run both shafts through a little test today. Yeah. You were quite impressed.
I thought they were great. I mean, it's cool that you've added two new brands, because I know you take that pretty seriously, what you carry on the wall.
We do. We very much pay attention.
There's so many options, and to add new ones is it's not like, oh, these are cool, the nice green label, let's fire that up on the wall. It's not really like that.
It's got to be very specific criteria to make our demo matrix. Every head, every shaft, it's not just a case of TaylorMade offer it, we carry it.
Yes.
Callaway offer it, we carry it. We test it. It has to fit into our profile of what we have for our demo clubs. Yeah. Has to perform. It has to cover a wide range of players. It has to be all these bunch of things.
And when it comes to shafts, I know you're big on the consistency that you get from the company, not having to sort through them as much because the tolerances are tight and such. So
that's honestly, Matthew, when it comes to iron shafts, that's the biggest thing for us, is that we're going to get a good batch of shafts. We're less likely to get shafts that fall out of tolerance from a straightness standpoint, from a consistency on weight and flex. Okay. So when we're frequency matching the shafts, we understand that our taper tip shafts are less we can't adjust them as much. The taper tip section doesn't allow us to trim them more.
That's from here down?
That's from the kind of
parallel
the bottom
area.
half. So you've got sort of a parallel area but less, so it will taper down. So we don't have 8 inches of parallel tip section like we do in some of the parallel shafts.
And just quickly for those that don't know, the more you take off the tip of the shaft, the stiffer this becomes.
Correct. That's it. So you leave the wider, you leave more of the wider butt section, which is the stiffest part of the shaft. Right. So that's what influences the bend profile. So when we're dealing with taper tip, it has to be the best out there.
And these are two definitely got to be two of the best, right?
These two are very much of that nature. I've worked with Shimada in the past. This is the first time I've had Oban in the store, or Oban as my countrymen would call it.
Is that right?
Yep, little town off the west coast of Scotland.
Is there a Scotch called?
There is. That's
you got some in your office?
I do.
Want to do a review of that too?
So two very different shafts. 115 grams is what the heaviest Oban shaft comes in at.
That's this guy here, CT 115.
Yep, so constant weight, so in 115 grams. Actually came out to about 110 when we weighed it. Right. So although it says 115 on the label, we weighed it out 110. So, and that for you, Matty, that one that we have there is the S Plus model. Okay. Yep. So that was the first one we tried. Yes. Then the next one we had was the Shimada Tour. Right. Okay, the X-Flex version, which is quite similar to that one, to your Modus 120 that you play. Right,
and you had said it was about 123 grams?
123 on that one. Yeah, exactly.
So, obviously, I could feel that this was heavier. Felt stiffer in profile. I think the butt section under the hands felt a little stiffer with the Shimada.
Yeah, anytime I used to play Shimada in the past.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, to me, they always felt heavier than stated from a weight perspective.
Just going to say that.
And they feel quite solid, quite stiff.
They reminded me, not quite as extreme, but kind of reminded me of an X7 when we were demoing those. Yeah. Maybe not quite as extreme in stiffness, but that was closer to that way. Right. And this guy was like very, very smooth, kind of nice, easy to swing. Yeah. Really nice, these ones.
I will honestly say, I think that Oban shaft is going to very quickly be one of the absolute best sellers in here.
Think so, eh?
Yeah, I really do. It comes in a 100 gram constant weight and then a 115 constant weight. Gotcha. That really falls in the sweet spot of the iron shaft category. So think along the lines of Modus 105, right. PXI 50 and 55 around that category.
All the ones we just tested, right?
Yeah. I think they're really going to fall into a nice sweet spot for a lot of our players in here.
Constant weight, I know you're a big fan of that. Explain that to us. Why is that an advantage?
Well, maintaining the weight of the shaft all the way down, so we're not taking 7 parallel shafts and cutting certain ones shorter than others, and then down in the short irons losing too much weight of the shaft, albeit the head weights increase, but I think it's still nice to have the same shaft weight all the way through it.
So as an example, I won't be getting these numbers right, but let's say the 3 iron, you're playing the 3 iron close to full weight, it's 112, 113. Sure. when you get down to, say you put this in your pitching wedge and you've trimmed it how many inches? 4 inches?
You're down into your pitching wedge from 3 iron. Now you're testing me.
It's a lot, right?
So it's for 7 clubs is 3.5, a half an inch per club, so you're 3.5 inches.
So quite a bit. So now that shaft in your pitching wedge only weighs what, like maybe 96 grams, 98, something like that?
Oh, that would be one for the...
we weigh them, but it doesn't make sense to play a lighter shaft in a shorter club.
To me, it doesn't.
And a heavier shaft in your long irons. So that's why constant weight, essentially, that's why that's a good idea.
I've never enjoyed the feel of that. Now, if frequency matters to you over that, then, fine, because that it's easier to frequency match a parallel set. I think, though, the most popular shafts out there right now, though, are high quality taper tip shafts that can, because the high quality nature of them, they do match for frequency. They're 4 to 5 CPMs, cycles per minute, between the shaft flexes, but they also are consistent on the weight all the way down.
It makes sense to me. The first time you mentioned it to me was we were talking about Acra graphite iron shafts.
Yeah, the constant weights versus the parallels.
And that's the first time you mentioned it to me, and my thought right away was, wow, like why aren't all iron shafts like that? Because it makes so much sense.
I know. Or even going the other way, like
should
the
be
ascending weight
and
shafts.
Dynamic Gold has that, right?
They have the ascending weight.
AMTs. Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So let's have a little look at the numbers.
The numbers aren't going to be anything.
We didn't really
crazy
see
out of the
anything
ordinary.
too different from your usual, to be honest.
But we know this to be the case, right?
Yeah.
We know the club head is going to be more of an influence.
Definitely.
I definitely felt that this was heavier and a little more work for me, just because of the profile felt stiffer. But they were not producing ball flights that were much different.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You make a great point there when you say that about we know already that it's it's the head that's going to be the big influence. We used your head, your Strixon 765s.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, we had yours at your spec, so I mean, it should fly good.
Yeah, it would take one of these to be just like a shockingly bad fit for me to produce way different launch conditions.
Yeah.
You'd probably see a disparity in the consistency of strike eventually, and one that kind of allows you to be a little bit more, I guess, consistent with your delivery.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're the type of player, Matty, your transition is so smooth. You're not a crazy heavy loader.
Right.
You can actually fit into quite a wide range of shafts. There's quite a lot of shafts that could possibly work quite well for you. You don't have extreme tendencies or characteristics. So yeah, I mean, both of these shafts could fit in quite nicely. We just know that from a consistency standpoint, having probably a little bit more weight at your speed is probably going to maintain your feel and the consistency of the shaft a little bit more.
Right, and if you get someone in here who's a little over the top, maybe you'll give them a bit more weight.
Give them a little bit more weight, something to help them feel the club throughout the swing, so it's not they're not manipulating it too easily.
Yeah, but I mean, the moral of the story is you've got two really good, high-quality products now to sort of, I guess, give you more options in a fit.
Definitely.
And from a club building standpoint, you're going to be giving someone an extremely well-built set of clubs.
So the big difference in the manufacturing process with these guys is it's not taking sheet metal that's wrapped and wrapped and welded basically.
Yeah, welded.
So that's how standard steel shafts are made. These are basically steel pipes that are then sort of cored out. So it's then the shaft is then it's brought to extreme heat, almost 900 degrees. Then it's reheated back up to about 260 degrees. So the idea behind that process, and that's the metal treatment, is that the shaft actually, when it's to create a sort of strength profile. So when the shaft loads, it retakes its kind of original form faster.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't spend as much time out of its intended shape.
Deformed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it returns that energy back into its original state. So it's created energy, and it's kind of unloaded it to, and throughout the swing, and it's returned to its original state where it can deliver then energy, consistency, integrity of the club face, that type of stuff. So that's the proprietary sort of technology that they have. They have a few other sort of in-house secrets of how they make their shafts, very different from any other company. But Japanese anything we know is made to the highest tolerances. We know that with the story of Miura and Endo with their Epon line and all that sort of stuff.
So your high-end stuff.
Yeah. So this, I mean, think of these shafts in the marketplace like, we know Nippon is renowned as being the kind of tightest tolerances in the industry.
Yep.
These are a direct competitor in the Japanese market to Nippon.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Very exceptional products. We love them.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's what you're mentioning about the deforming and reforming. That's a lot of what an aftermarket graphite shaft. That's the point of spending more money on those, is you're getting a higher quality product that performs better in that respect.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are now
consistent in that nature of how it will retake its original form.
So now you're getting that all the way down to your down to your wedges.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So it's cool. So far so good. We've had it in the shop now probably about maybe a couple of weeks almost.
Okay.
And, we've had some really good results. We've had some customers come in and really enjoy them.
Really?
We've had a couple of sets being built with them as we speak. So
that's great.
Yeah, early on, some really good results.
Okay, well, something to keep an eye on for sure.
Definitely.
Be part of our little testing process and throw those in. And are they a big product line compared to like a True Temper and Project X? Are there a bunch of different models?
No.
So a little more limited?
A little more limited. Well, Shimada's definitely bigger.
Yep.
They've got 4 or 5 shafts in their taper tip section. They've got 4 or 5 in the parallel tip section. Right. So we've brought in a little selection of Tours, Pros, the Constants, the S-Lite. So we've got a little selection of them. Then when it comes to the constant weight Oban, it just comes in the constant weight 100.
Yep.
And then a constant weight 115, and then it comes in subflexes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this will be more for your sort of, I guess, a little bit lighter weight, something that suits a player who wants a little bit less weight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we may mention it, but think Modus. Yeah. Think Modus 105. Think PXI. Think NS Pro.
Right.
And
that's what most people fit into. Like percentage-wise, what
100%.
like 80% of customers come in, and that's the weight range that they're looking at.
If you're swinging your 6 iron, say around sort of mid 70s to mid 80s, which is almost everyone.
It's almost everyone.
Almost everyone. That we see certainly anyway. They're going to fall into one of these somewhere.
Perfect.
So it's just whether the feel is what you like. Obviously, the consistency, the ball flight gives us what we need. And I think they're going to be a really good option for a lot of people, Matty.
Absolutely.
Good.
I love some new gear.
Yeah, it's cool, always nice, isn't
it?
Yeah, I mean, it's unusual that we get a new company in the door.
That's what I was going to say.
To deal with, we kind of have a good idea of the stuff we like to work with, and we've been working with all the brands that we do for a long time. The guys at Acura, Mitsubishi, Fujikura, all that sort of stuff. But to get Oban and Shimada through the door was pretty exciting for us.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
Guys, let us know if any of you have tried the product in any of the other stores. I know some of the club fitting stores out there, True Spec and Club Champion, are already carrying this stuff. So if you've tried it and had some good success with it, let us know any of your experiences, any further questions about it. Feel free to leave those as well. Be happy to answer any of those as always.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.